comfortably.
Why, hello there. How are you all doing? Me turn off the starting soon. And the starting soon cat. Yes, hello everybody. We're doing some Lego today. Because I felt like it, mostly. Got to do the important things. Let's turn on the lo-fi hip hop beats to study to. It's not actually that video, but just so there's some background music, so it doesn't get oddly weird when it's when I'm quiet for a second whilst building. But is that music? Okay, I'll wait for it to actually get going a bit before asking you if it. Okay. How is that? Is that too loud? That looks too loud. Turn it down a smidge. Okay, cool. Right, so yeah, what we're doing today is we're going to do some Lego. Part of the reason for doing some Lego today is because, well, we've got some big kits that we want to at some point like stream, but because they are bigger kits, like just a simple kind of just filming down from above, like the kind of awkward way that I've done these before, is sort of not really applicable. So, haha, there is one thing. Hello. We've got this is, you can't see this, but it is on a completely different arm. And also, we have a secondary angle that I wish to test to see if this all works. It may work, it may not. We will find out. We will find out, won't we? So, let me just move this shite out of the way. Because Hello, Longfang. Oh yeah, I bought this earlier today. Which is the Bumblebee movie Wheeljack. He's quite good. His legs are a bit floppy, but I fixed them. Yeah, he has an unreasonably good, like, complex transformation for a deluxe-sized figure. Can you get your face on both cameras? I mean, probably. Hello. But I can't see, so like literally, my thing is over the other side. So I literally can't see. If I put my head down here, I actually can't see what shows up. Anyway, yeah, let's look at this. So, people don't know. Yeah, a really good. If you are building Lego and you have a dice tray, they are really good for holding pieces. Because this is just our dice tray. And what I have bought today, as I went out earlier and bought this. So yeah, it's one of those 3-in-1 sets where it's like 3 different things that you can build that you get instructions with. And well, 3 different sort of things you can build. So yeah, I thought I'd just get one of these and we'll try it out. We'll see how this works with the 2 camera setup. I may adjust things as we go a little bit. But basically just kind of see if this 2 camera setup works, because over in the corner is a couple of Star Wars kits that Snipe has got. That we quite like to do a stream on, and I of course have Lego Optimus that I still have not built because I want to build him on stream. So this is sort of like a mini test of the basic idea. And yeah, what I thought we'd do tonight, because obviously this is like a small little set, so if I just built one of them it wouldn't take very long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build all 3, which we will probably do. Let's see better on the back. There is a dragon, like a robot dragon, a plane, and of course the very tokusatsu looking robot. So I thought we would build the dragon first because it doesn't look like it looks like probably the weakest one. Thank you, Ticklix, for the sub. Thank you very much. But yes, we'll build the dragon first, and then we'll build the plane, and then we'll build the robot. That sound good to everybody? Best do. But yes. So yeah, let's open up this bloody thing. Yes, this was bought especially today at great expense. Don't look at the price, which shows it's not at great expense at all. But I kind of been eyeing this for a while in the toy shops because I really like the look of the robot. So yeah. There was a bear robot on the back of this. That's pretty good. Okay, so we actually get a different instruction manual for each of them. Okay, that's fun. Cool. Okay. All right. I guess I'll just because these will no doubt use these things at different things. I'll just pour it all out. Yeah, there we go. Got some Lego at Christmas, maybe build along the background. Oh, feel free. Yeah, this will be a pretty chill little stream. I will natter. Robot Bear, aka who let Longfang binge Scrap Heap Challenge again. You know how it affects him. I don't know if Longfang's really watched Scrap Heap Challenge much. I know I like watched through as much of it as I could get a hold of a couple of years ago. Is that 3-in-1 robot? It is that kit, yes. It is that kit. Okay. Ooh. I'm sure that sound probably activates some people. But yes, okay, right then. Let's try and do this. Okay. Slowly figure out how to most efficiently build this. Okay. Let me know if my audio gets a little too quiet because I have to be slightly further away from the mic to do this. But yeah, we shall begin. There we go. Perfect. I should probably put this like this so you folks can see all the instructions. That feels about right. Robot Wars and Scrap Heap Challenge was my childhood. It was so sad when the Robot Wars reboot was cancelled. Oh yeah, I watched a bunch of I say I watched a bunch. I literally watched every Robot Wars episode. Like, was it last year or maybe the year before? I just went through and watched all of them again, which was a fun time. It was like they wanted to say so too. It was interesting to watch the meta slowly develop over time. It was very fascinating to watch. Oh, this is a bit of a shit dragon, isn't it? Hello, Mattress Wolf. I have to watch BattleBots completely legal through reputable download sources. You ever tried watching the original BattleBots? It's fucking unwatchable. It is shockingly bad. Modern BattleBots, pretty good actually. Honestly, very interesting that because of the arenas that they use, flippers just don't exist in the same sort of volume. They're all about like high damage spinners and stuff. But original BattleBots, just fucking atrocious. I was shocked how bad it was. Realize one of the things of having the fun coloured lights aesthetic is that it does mean that some of the colours are not quite as defined as they normally would be to my eyes. But we shall persevere. Yeah, Comedy Central BattleBots is dreadful, and one of the lightweight champions in that era was named a slur, so that's neat. Oh, I didn't even know about that. My method of watching BattleBots was that I think I watched like a couple of episodes of like the first season of it and went, this is dross. This is completely unwatchable. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see when it gets better. And I just like skipped forward a season and then would watch an episode of each season going through, and found out that when it came to the old BattleBots, the answer when it got good was never. I feel wholly confident in my my assertion that it is completely unwatchable trash. But, like I say, the new BattleBots, pretty good. Grind has redeemed a random 40k fact. Oh, and thank you for the sub there, Ronosaur. Yeah, a random 40k fact. That'd be a fun one. You see, I need to I need to lower the thing for that because what happens is I basically forget about Warhammer existing whenever anyone redeems one of those. So I'm just like, oh, what the hell? And it's an oldie, but it's a goodie. There is a planet called Birmingham. Which is not very nice. Which makes sense. Because Birmingham. Ooh. So, as someone who like, I get Lego kits from every now and again. I'm not like someone who's like maintained doing Lego like throughout my whole life. Like it was my jam as a kid, and then as an adult, I'll maybe get a kit or two a year at most. So when I do buy new kits, there's nearly always some new piece that I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before. And so that's quite fun. This is what it's like getting old. The Lego pieces aren't what you remember. Expensive collecting hobbies, gotta catch them all. I don't know what you mean with the two Transformers you can see on screen and the history of Warhammer. Need 4 of these little slope pieces. Go. Which way round are we? This way round. I presume these will be like the scales on the back of the dragon. Or maybe underneath. New BattleBots is basically Razor's final formulas were built by the guys who made the house robots for the Robot Wars reboot. Oh, interesting. That's cool. And don't apologise for spamming about it. I understand. It's okay. I enjoy. Like I say, I enjoy my Robot Wars. It's a lot of fun. And yes, I have seen the new Rivendell set.
Let the purifying flame cleanse this area.
Lego of my ego, you mego. Hey, hope you're enjoying Bricks with Studs. Stud Bricks. GP thinks I might have fibromyalgia. A little low, but I'm not gonna let it keep me down. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but at least you get in. At least you get it. You know, you've got a diagnosis. So, or at least towards getting a diagnosis, which is good. I presume that was Lynn, by the way. I need a little ball joint. I think I've talked about this before, but like, ball joint, where are you? I require you. I think I've talked about this before, but there we go. They're actually really obviously like right there, but when I was a little kid, I used to try and make robots out of Lego, but the Lego in the 90s just didn't have the pieces really to do it. So like ball joints didn't exist in Lego yet. Like things like Bionicle or Snap, those didn't exist. So the closest you could get is like kind of making faux universal joints from like Lego Technic, but when I was doing it, I didn't really have that much Lego Technic, so I couldn't even really do that. So now that ball joints are just kind of a pretty standard part, it's I don't know, it's quite nice. It allows me to kind of at least live out a bit of an old kind of fantasy, I suppose. Actually, I suppose because that's the wings. Because I'm. No, that is the back. Oh, okay, so these are little. I kind of assumed that these would be like the wings, but no, that's where the wings attach, and this is where legs attach. Okay, I kind of just assumed, I guess, because they were all together, that those would be like 4 legs. Oh, okay. Forgot Snap existed. Yeah, I had a bunch of Snap. One of the forgotten Lego themes. But kind of, I mean, it's weird because in a lot of ways, modern Lego Technic is a lot like Snap. I like the drama here of like attach the tail. But yeah, in a lot of ways, Snap was sort of ahead of its time, whilst also being kind of shite. Modern Lego Technic is basically here's a car. It's a very different. I think I've not really. When I do get Lego kits, it's very rare that I have gone in for modern Lego Technic. It just doesn't really scratch quite the same itch as Lego Technic when I was younger did. And I know it's very old man yells at cloud. Like, I'm not sitting there saying one is objectively better than the other or anything. But just they're a very different kind of thing. I was going to say, I assume this was the head. What is kind of neat is that the other kits, the other builds in this set quite heavily use red in their sort of designs, and this dragon just doesn't use any of it, which is kind of fun considering it's, you know, made primarily out of the same pieces. It's quite fun. Well, I think it's quite fun anyway. We're not talking about fucking Galador, are we? Oh, fucking hell. If you do not know about Galador, there is a very good summary of it. I mentioned them actually a little bit ago. A channel that I started watching called RR Slugger, who do like a Rock Raiders retrospective was sort of their main thing, but they've kind of spun off into other Lego stuff now. And one of those they've done is Galador, which was a very strange action figure sort of spin-off of Lego. I kind of like this is just a weird little worm man. Not a worm with a Y, just a worm. Just a worm man. Yeah, cool. It's funny because whenever I see people talk about like Bionicle, it's what reminds me that I am a little older than a lot of the people in the audience, because like I was like too old when Bionicle started coming out. Like I was already like it came out around the tail end as I was becoming a boring prick of a teenager. And being like, oh, I don't want to play with toys. When I secretly actually really wanted to play with toys. Because toys are rad and they make me happy. Hence Transformers and Lego. But yeah, so I never got into Bionicles at all. They just weren't really my jam. So it's an interesting thing whenever I see people talk about them, because it's like, I remember them. Like, I remember them coming out, but I just have, like, zero personal experience or, like, affection for them whatsoever. Here we go. It's a cute little foot. I really like these pieces that they started doing a little bit ago. The little kind of half circle ones, or quarter circle ones rather. They do a lot of fun stuff with them, and there's that whole Mixels or whatever they're called. That like that seems to be half of that theme is to do with that. What am I building? I am building a dragon, which is the first one of the 3 things in this set. The others being a plane and a robot. And the robot's definitely the one it's going to stay as, because the robot is definitely the coolest one. Yeah, I've heard there is a lot of depth to Bionicle's lore, but it is one of those things that I just have no like experience or if I'm honest, interest in. So when I hear people like excitedly talk about it, I'm like, wow, now I know what I do to people when I start talking about Transformers. Okay, fair enough. Guess that's the thing. We all have our little things that we get like super into. And that's fine. It's cute. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, he's quite cute. See, this is the helpful thing about having the extra camera, is that when things are maybe a little larger, I can show them off like that. I think if we're doing actually bigger things, then I would have to pull this out a little bit further. But you know what? It's working. How's the lovely lady Snipe doing? Snipe is doing okay. She is currently having a sleepy. Because I don't know if anyone's ever mentioned this, but chemo knocks the shit out of you. Okay. You know what? Just as a little dinosaur, I actually quite like that. It's very simple, but it's quite fun. I'd like it in different colours, but you know. Oh, we've got another dramatic leg attachment I missed. Okay. Oop. Let's attach it in the right place. So here's a fun thing. Does everyone remember what their first Lego kit was? For those of you that have done the Lego thing, obviously. Because my answer is incredibly hipsterish, because I don't know what it was actually called, but it was a set that was actually my mum's originally. So I think it came from sometime in the 70s. Like pre-minifigure. And you know, the promotional images still, like on the outside, still showed like die-cast cars alongside the houses you could build, because it was just like, you know, it was part of a wider play pattern rather than it being just Lego. Three Bionicle canisters, spatial to medieval castle. Again, Bionicle. Remember getting massive Connects thing. Yeah, I had some Connects as well. Second generation blue Bionicle. See, this is the thing. This may have been my trans awakening in retrospect. Hey, whatever gets you there, you know. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. The Lego thing is obviously it resonates with people, because it was like a lot of people's first interaction with Lego, and I think you know, the fact that when I'm like, oh, what was my first Lego set, and it was like, oh, it was a thing that was my mum's originally, sort of I think sort of like cements like that. Not only am I from, like, you know, that I was from the generation kind of sets before, but I was like thrust even further out of time. Yes, that is the right way. Got myself confused there. There was a rescue helicopter that was white and orange. Big Ball Factory Connects. Oh shit, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I remember the big ass pirate ship, Black Sea Barracuda. Oh yeah, the big pirate ships were great. I did have one of the big pirate ships that I managed to get from Legoland for way cheaper than it should have been sold for, via a complex strategy called lying. Literally, they asked, like, I was, you know, like, they asked us, like, well, we saw the big pirate ship at Legoland Windsor, and they asked us, and we asked, like, oh, how much is it? And they said, we don't know. Phone this number and then tell us how much they said. So we walked outside, stood outside for 5 minutes, and then walked back in and went, they said £25. So they sold it to us for £25. I later discovered it was about 60. So, you know. That was fun. Okay. We have done with the little dragon, who has little arms. He has... let me get my toy reviewer thing on. So we have articulation at the neck, ball joint at the neck, ball joint on the wings, hinge on the arms, ball joints on the hip, ball joint on the feet, a ball joint on the tail, and a double hinge on the tail. There we go. But yeah, no. Yeah, I think he's all right actually. When I was looking at like just the pictures, it looked a bit, you know, a bit crap. Remember? Oh yeah, shit. We got to test the plastic quality. Seems fine. That's a joke for all the Transformers fans out there. But no, that's actually not bad. I was expecting this one to be a little bit disappointing. But no, I actually quite like him. He's got quite a lot of personality. I think it helps, yeah, that with all the ball joints and stuff. You know what I should probably do if I set this up for like the big streams? I should probably make like a different instance of the window, so that I can flit between having the big this camera and this camera, to have them flit between being the primary camera, so that, you know, I can say, oh hey, if I want to look at something and I want to have a bit more room so I'm not scrunched under the camera, which I kind of am here a little bit, I can just move it over there. There we go. You're all beta testing a later stream. I hope you're aware of this. But yeah, no. Cool. So, unfortunately, we do have to dismantle the boy. So, everyone look away. Everyone look away. It's okay. It's done. It's done. He didn't feel a thing. So we need to dismantle him so that we can now build the second one, which is this little plane. I'm actually a little surprised with these little creator sets. My life has now been destroyed. The boy's gone. I'm sorry. I'm kind of surprised it doesn't come with one of the little brick separators, because I know a lot of sets come with those now. Because they, like, when I was doing Lego in the 90s, brick separators existed, though they were a different design. They didn't have the upward pointing piece, and they were a bit thicker. I've still got one somewhere. But like, to get one of those, you had to like send off for them. It was like a mail order only thing. They didn't just come in sets. Whereas now, my understanding is quite a lot of the larger sets just come with those things. But for something like this, where you're supposed to rebuild it as multiple different things, kind of surprises me. But I suppose at the end of the day, this was an incredibly cheap set. Like $8.99 for like 3 little fun builds. Like, I know it's pretty basic designs, but you know. Oh, thank you very much, Ranger Rumble, for the resub. Thank you very much. Your brick separators were pretty shit, not gonna lie. I have not used the new ones, so I have nothing to compare them to. I know that the old ones worked. And was certainly better than the nuclear option, which is taking it apart with your fucking teeth, which you should never do because it knackers the bricks, and you run the risk of choking to death on Lego, which is not ideal. But yeah, so none of these red bits were used at all in that one. So that's interesting. God. In a lot of ways, I do wish I had kept some of my old Lego, because I had like some of the big Ice Planet sets and the what were the yellow underwater ones called? I forget what those were called. But yeah, I had like the like the larger like yellow submarine with like the grabby claws on the front and everything. I really liked that. Aqua Raiders? Maybe that sounds about right. So was it Spytrons? Like the red and blue ones? Like space theme, so I had the big robot of that as well. Don't think any Ice Raiders, but I think we had some old UFO sets. Yeah, I had the UFO one, not the big spaceship, but the like medium-sized one that had the fiber optics in it. I remember really liking that. But I think like the Ice Planet ones, like, are so like that color scheme, the blue and the translucent, like neon translucent orange, is just like wedged in my brain, like that very very specific look. I remember in one of the painting logs I did, where I was like, asking people to submit their own stuff, and someone did submit. They painted a bunch of Marines as Ice Planet like guys, which was very fun. If you're not supposed to break the bricks with your teeth, then why do they look like sweeties? Checkmate, liberals. You can actually get buildable Lego bricks. Buildable. Of course you can get buildable Lego bricks. Edible Lego bricks. You can get them. Although they don't work very well. Until with more generic Lego themes, there's like 5 versions of each slightly different names. Yep. Ice Planet sets look lovely despite not having any nostalgia for them. Yeah, I really like them. Although if I'm to be completely honest, and I take nostalgia out of it, it was really fucking hard to find uses for any of that translucent orange in any other build, because it just didn't go. It doesn't go with a lot of stuff very well. So I had just tons of the stuff and very rarely had a particularly good use for it, which was a pity. Is it just me, or has the music got quieter? Is it just the track itself just decided to go quiet, or is the whole thing? We'll give it a moment so I don't fiddle with it, but... Okay, we'll let the next track go up, and if that's also very quiet, then I shall up the volume. that seems fine. It was just that track, I guess. Getting the first edition of Space Hulk, very nice, very nice. I've got a few of the models, but that's it. And I have not. The only Space Hulk I've played is the most recent edition of it, which I played a little bit at a board game cafe. Because I am the hipster scum that I am, I have played way more Space Crusade than Space Hulk. All these pieces are always fun. Eh. I missed that we got to put a few of these on. A few of these. I think it's maybe the primary colour kind of thing, but I'm getting a bit of a Jerry Anderson vibe from this currently. Minecraft and Lego stream, very chill Saturday. So I thought I'd go for today, just kind of a little bit chill, just a bit chill. Kind of surprised the ball joints are being used in this. Not really sure what they'd be used for. I guess maybe. Oh yeah, I suppose they'll be for the wings, won't they? To make them kind of have a swing wing thing going on. Yeah. The only Anderson stuff I've seen is Breakaway of Space 1999 on the Andersons YouTube. That is admitted. I am a big fan of Space 1999. But if you've never seen anything, Thunderbirds is the obvious like go-to because it's like the most famous one. But like if you've never seen it, like. The big three of Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, and Stingray, good things to check. They're fun things to check out. If you're an absolute deviant, you can check out things like Fireball XL5, which is a very bizarre thing. Oh, no, we don't talk about Terrorhawks. We don't talk about Terrorhawks. I felt very betrayed by Terrorhawks. I took it very personally. There is Joe 92, which I know a lot of people like, and it does, admittedly, have a banger of like an intro theme. I just found the show itself a little bit dull. Why did Terrorhawks betray you, Wib? Because it's crap. I watched it for the first time relatively recently, which is why I believe there's a podcast episode called Wib's Irrational Puppet Hatred because of how much I hate the main character of Terrorhawks. I think it's just because it is a puppet show, but it's not a marionette show, so it's a very different vibe, and I didn't like the vehicle designs in it very much, so everything I liked about Jerry Anderson's stuff just wasn't really present. I'm sure I'd have a lot more fun if I went into it without the expectations of having grown up on Jerry Anderson stuff. But yeah, that's why. But like I'm sure if you were to approach it on its own merits, then you can find you can find fun in it, because some people do love it. So you know. It does have Windsor Davis in it. Yes, it is not a show without any fun things. But yeah, I established it was not for me. Best Jerry Anderson show opening is Space 1999 Season 1, and I'll accept no other answers. Seamus, I agree. I love Season 1 Space 1999's intro. It fucking slaps. Although, admittedly, like in general, the soundtracks and intros by Barry Gray, if I remember correctly, is the guy that did most of them. Just generally really, really high quality anyway. But the inherent funkiness of the Space 1999 Season 1 intro is unmatched. Hello, Hans. Everything is fine. Everything is good, thank you. I hope your pizza was good. What's up? What are we building? We are building this. We have built a dragon, and now we are building this, and then we shall build a robot at the end. Like how it's like a double ball joint, so it's actually like super strong. It's quite fun. But yeah, one thing I find quite fun about the Jerry Anderson like puppet shows is that there's the ones that are you know are very, very silly, like you know you watch Fireball XL5, some of the older stuff, and it's very tongue-in-cheek, very silly, like you know. But then you get to like things like Captain Scarlet, and it takes the thing so seriously that you often forget that you're watching fucking puppets. It's kind of wild. And then they started doing live action stuff with like Space 1999 and UFO, and there was a Secret Service as well, wasn't there? Which is the one I always forget about. Because I think that had more live action stuff in it. Or I might be misremembering, because I know there's like one other one. Oh, there was Space Precinct, but that was much later. That was in the 90s. But it was fun when they went when they started concentrating on live action stuff, because then it was like, oh yeah, it's like now we just have sci-fi that has the incredibly good ahead of the curve like special effects from things like Thunderbirds. Captain Scarlet would have you watch people die grisly deaths, and the only thing that keep it safe for kids would be it being puppets. Exactly. So they often had live action close-ups of hands and stuff. That was fun. Yeah, the hand models, these like people with unreasonably well manicured hands, like coming in and do it and hand acting to the finest degree. They don't just pick things up. They're like everything's very precise with how they pick, you know, how they do things, because they're making sure that you are completely understanding their actions. It's very fun. It's very fun. Snipe and Whip Twitch, come for the Legos, stay for the sensual hand acting. Thank you, Yashi. And also, thank you for, it was 24 months. So, thank you for 2 years. By 1 more month, 2 years for me. Oh, well, thank you for 23 months there, little pink Bowser. Thank you very much. The things I eventually liked in the Thunderbirds live-action films, that was one the close-up... Oh, when they did close-up cutaways, they used a puppet hand instead. See, I've never seen the live-action movie. So I didn't know they did that. That is incredible. I love that. So in a load of female fighter pilots who hung out together in the floating sky base for the organisation called Spectrum. Hits different when you're a closeted trans lesbian. I can understand that. I can understand that. It's really wild. Like Captain Scarlet was considered like a really progressive show for the time, which is kind of fun. Which is kind of fun. So I remember tuning into Thunderbirds reruns while at uni and watching Parker straight up murder a man. Oh yeah, no, Parker was just yeah, he was just like that. He was an ex-thief, if I remember correctly. It was like his canonical deal. Like when I remember like it being it was insinuated in an episode that like, when he got a night off, like he went out to go and just steal some stuff just because it like, you know, I guess just to keep his eye in. Okay, we're nearly done with this one. Not exactly sure what my voice was doing there, but you know, it's fine. Okay, so these go like that. Okay. That's fun. Nothing on there, and then we just need to put the little tail fins on. I think that is us done. Yes! Okay, there we go. Just a little jet with swing wing design. That's fun. I think I do like the dragon better. I will be honest. I think the dragon was just a little more fun, but I think that's just because it's all posable and it's more of a mini action figure that you build sort of thing. And this is just a plane, which is a little dull comparatively speaking. But still, it's a fun little design. So yes, and yes, to view it on the other angle, where I can move it around a little bit more smoothly. But yeah, I am okay with that. Very bird-like, because it almost looks like this is a beak. But I suppose most planes are somewhat bird-like on account of them being things that fly in the sky using wings. But yeah, very Transformers Victory. Yeah, I suppose, because the sort of like space planey look and the like primary colours. But yeah, so that's a fun little one. Knowing nothing about Transformers Victory, it sounds like Optimus Prime transforming into the flagship of Horatio Nelson. No, Transformers Victory was the last of the like full series that was produced for the Japanese Generation 1 continuity. Because after the cartoon that we all know as The Transformers in the 80s, finished, they carried it on with three series. 'Cause there was Headmasters, Super God, Master Force, and Victory. And then there was the OVA Transformers Zone after that, but I don't count that because that was not a full series. It was just a half-an-hour thing. Going off that logic, would that make land speed record jet powered cars the technological equivalent of flightless birds? Yes, I am saying that that thrust SSC is a cassowary, I guess. Does thrust SSC still hold the land speed record, or has it been beaten? I don't know. It's been a long time. I used to kind of be interested in that stuff. I had a little die-cast thrust SSC from when it was still in its like concept phase, because I was at the British Grand Prix and they had like a big stall like, we're building this new thrust to beat Thrust 2's record. And so I got it signed by was it Richard Noble? Did I? Yeah, Super Lifeform Transformers was the name of the G1 show in Japan. Something like that, anyway. And yes, I'm kind of glad that I don't have to learn a new thing, and so Thrust SSC still holds the land speed record. I don't know if it's still being done, but I remember at the time, because I think there was them and an American team were trying to break the sound barrier on land. After Thrust did it, it was then like, well, we're gonna try for the like non-jet powered land speed record, because the jet powered one, that's not the real land speed record anyway, which kind of just came across as sour grapes. Or Super Robot Lifeform Transformers. I think I might be actually Long Fang, yeah. Am I making Optimo Primo? No. This is actually a test stream to see how it would work, because I do have him, and I am going to build him on stream. But he would take a lot more parts than this. Oh my goodness, he will. However, I am making a robot now. Making the final one. Who is obviously the main event of this set, which is quite fun. I'm just going to go and quickly grab a drink. I shall return. Okay, I return. The correct full name of the Japanese Transformers is Fight Super Robot Lifeform Transformers. Okay, cool. See, when thinking about it, we were both assuming it was slightly more sensible than it actually was. And yes, this does look very much Mazinga-ish. All right. They should release some Star Wars 3-in-1 sets. That would be cool, but I assume the reason why they don't is because with these, they can make like they can make a design for like the primary build of something, and then they make alternate builds based on whatever they've got, and they can try and work out, you know, how to make something. Whereas with the Star Wars ones, they would probably be limited because it'd be hard to make 3 canon things from the same set, and they're probably not allowed to make much stuff up. So I presume that's why you would not see it. They used to have alternate builds. Actually, that's the point. I hadn't thought about that. Because yeah, they used to have alternate builds on the back of things. But I never. But Star Wars Lego started coming out like around the time that I was stopping getting into doing Lego stuff. So I missed all of that at the time. But yes. The Navi minifigs, the Lego Avatar sets look, yeah, they're very weird because they're extra long. They've got the long legs, which I've been told were originally used on Woody minifigs, is where they originally came from, and they are upsetting. They're like, I didn't think it was possible to do Uncanny Valley on a Lego minifigure because like the legs, it's a little bit dusty. The legs are just like a little bit extra longer. I think the arms are a little longer as well on them. Sorry, this is just the one minifig that was to hand, which is of course a little Mando, because it's a little micro fighter, Razor Crest. I mean, Woody minifigs are made like I mean, Woody, like from Toy Story. Gosh darn it. But yeah. Yeah, so let's build this chap. I actually nearly bought this today. That's it. When I was looking for things, and I thought this, like, I could have bought one thing that was like one big set, but I thought this would, because I was building like 3 things. I thought that'd work well. That'd work well. But yeah, so we now enter the final phase. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying this. Or if you're not, then I'm sorry, I guess. But well, I'm enjoying building Lego, so you know. I'm not sorry. I completely missed a part there because I I didn't. Yeah. I confused myself. I like the 2 previous hymns. I'm looking forward to this new hymn. Yeah, this is the one I was most looking forward to. So I have been like the plane was fine, nothing amazing, but it totally does the job. And the dragon I liked more than I expected to, like a lot more than I expected to. So you know, this mech has a lot to live up to. I'm not thinking of a looted Mazinga Z for a Yogurt Rebellion. I really need to finish painting because I've got a Rogue Trader battle wagon that I converted because it was in pretty rough shape when I got it. So I didn't feel bad about converting it for use in my Grot Rebellion, and it's like mostly painted, but I just need to do the last bit of it. Need to get on that. I say as if I don't need to get on a lot of painting. Although my next looted project is a thing that I've been talking about for quite a while now, but other things came up and sort of got in the way. But I am thinking about going and getting a Lehman Russ so that I can start work on my basically a grot tank company. So it would be using Astra Militarum rules, so I can have, you know, basically for something for my Shadow Sword to live in. I just haven't decided if I'm going to go absolutely ridiculous with it and make it into an army that is functionally 3 super heavies and a Lehman Russ tank as a tank commander. I have not yet decided if I'm going to do that level of silliness. We'll see. Been magnetising some Lehman Russ tanks in the last few days. What I'm going to do with because I'm basically going to make it so that I can really lean into like individualizing like conversion things. This first Lehman Russ I'm going to build as a Punisher, but I'm going to make the little bit where the tank commander grot will sit. That is going to be a magnetized piece, so if I buy any other Lehman Russes, I can swap them between different builds of Russ, so I can have whichever one I want as my tank commander, but each one will be like a different build of Russ. Because I know I could magnetize it all, but magnetizing drives me fucking nuts. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing. Lehman Russ reboxing comes with both turret and weapon sprues. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, so I'm going to be going for my initial tank commander build will just be a full Punisher, like all heavy bolters and Punisher cannon loadout, maximum Dakar build. Because I was looking at the different builds of Lehman Russ and I was like, yeah, that one seems the most fun to me. Especially considering that the only other thing I have for the army currently is a Shadow Sword, so I pretty much have, you know, killing big armor sorted. I was also quite happy to see the new rules for the Shadow Sword, because when I looked at it, I was like, ooh, those are pretty tasty. Like, its theoretical damage is down from their 8th edition codex, because it can't physically do as much damage, but it is guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but provided shots go through, it does a lot more damage by default. So on average, to my eyes anyway, it looks like it has a much higher average amount of damage output. These pieces are so weird. Oh yes, those are the things. Even more tasty when your opponent kills a Shadow Sword. If you have 2 CP, you can fire it, hitting on a 4+. It was very interesting doing, because I don't know if people, I presume a few of you saw it, that I did a thing on Twitter where I was asking about stratagems, and Like, do people actually like them? And the answer was overwhelmingly, no, fuck off, they're terrible. Which I was a little surprised about, because I knew that I got annoyed with them. But also, I don't get to play the game anywhere near as much as I would like. So, you know, I kind of assumed that my distaste for them was mostly because I was like, just never could play the game enough to get familiar with them before they get all ripped out and changed. But it turned out that was not an uncommon opinion. So I like stratagems. I never much liked stratagems, but I've been playing for 15 years, so I'm just a grumpy nostalgic now. I don't think it's really like a grumpy nostalgic thing, like because my feelings about them were that they there's too many of them and they require too much. It just, unless you are playing a lot, then knowing which ones you have and which ones you should be using are something that just requires, missed a piece there. It just requires a lot of mental load to like be constantly doing, and it slows games down a lot, in my experience. And it does seem that, yeah, that is how a lot of people feel about them. And especially when it's combined with like how the rest of the game works. I mean, I won't go on about it because I've ranted about this at length a few weeks ago. But just with how the game has a fairly rapid turnover of additional rules and modifications, it just leads for there to be a lot for players to keep in their heads. And with keeping track of CP, secondary objectives, stratagems, warlord traits, generalized faction things, stuff like fuck, it's fallen out of my head. The chapter tactics things. What are they called? Is it chapter tactics? The thing where you go from like your doctrines, flipping between doctrines if you're a Space Marine player, like. It's just a lot to keep in your head, and like it's all stuff that's not rolling dice and shooting and moving models around. So it's just like feels a little bit like maybe getting away from what people enjoy about the game. All I'll say is that because of the kind of people that I play against, who are often in a similar boat to me, who don't get to play as much as they want, we frequently find ourselves entirely forgetting about a lot of this guff that has been added to the game, and I can't say that I have missed it when it has been entirely forgotten about. That is a big chunky leg. Is that its entire leg? Oh, I thought it had a... Oh, it doesn't have knees. That's a little disappointing. I realise I should have been building two of these. Yeah, it doesn't have knees. With the pieces in here, I don't think I could give it one. But it is definitely possible to give it knees. I know that feeling with IMO for 10th, they should have a simple game rule set for casual players that, and the other gubbins if you're doing tournament play. Yeah. I feel like, you know, I have my feelings about competitive play and how it affects how the game functions. But it's, yeah. The game's in a bit of a weird spot right now, and I'm in that sort of position where I'm like, I don't want there to be... There we go. It was hidden in the corner. I don't want there to be a 10th edition per se, because are we going to focus? Thank you. Of course, there's no knees. It's called Lego, not Neo. Okay. Yeah. Good work. Yeah, on the one hand, I don't want there to be another edition because I think the game cycles through editions far too fast, and if nothing else, it's just a fucking waste of paper with how many books you have to buy and everything. But by the same token, the game is also a bit of a mess and does need a rehaul. I both want there to be 10th edition, but I also don't. You see what I mean? Because I think the problem is that whilst they can, whilst they do change everything on the fly, it's hard to keep track of, and to do a big blanket change as much as needed, they do kind of have to like start from scratch again, as it were. Not necessarily like a full reboot, but they do need to. A new edition allows for a much cleaner break if they're going to try and do something about these issues. Which I would like them to do something about the issues. But as with a lot of modern GW stuff, they are experts at getting themselves into damned if they do, damned if they don't situations. So, you know. We shall see what happens. A new edition is coming. Like, there's always a new edition on the way. It just depends on how quick we're going to get it. To Fantasy's first year's had 3 editions in 4 years. Yeah. First edition only lasted a year. Admittedly, it was barely anything. And second edition was realistically... It was when we call editions, it was just a revised version of first edition's rules. It wasn't like an entirely new thing. It was just revised more than anything else. And gutted the RPG rules because they were shite. Spoilers for the Warhammer Fantasy video that we're currently like working on. But yeah, first edition's RPG aspects were not great. There we go. They should do ebook versions only, versions of the Codex, and only release the hardbacks after the erratas. I disagree with that, I'll be honest. Because not everyone has easy access to a tablet, and reading things like that on a phone screen, which more people have access to. But not everyone has access to a smartphone that would be able to deal with whatever app would be required to run that. Just presents another layer of like a barrier to entry for people. So personally, I just think they should just fucking playtest their game properly. Then when they release something, they don't have to constantly be fiddling with it. And also to not care quite so much what competitive players say. They are always going to break the game. And everyone else has to face the consequences of their bullshit, and it's very frustrating. Plonk. Leggies. Eh? There we go. There we go. Look at that fun lad. See, I was going to complain about the knees, but then I remembered that the Lego Optimus doesn't have knees either, so why the fuck would this? Ooh, pardon me. I wish the Codex contained more lore and hobby stuff again. I do wish they had more of the hobby stuff, I will be honest. Like, the lore, I feel that, if anything, they might have a bit too much. It's a bit overwhelming at times. I'm not saying like they should definitely have less or anything. I'm just saying like it would be fine if they didn't have quite so much. But I do think they're really missing out on having the hobby stuff. Like I really miss them having like showing you how to just paint stuff. It's and like I wish they'd show you minis that weren't perfect more often. Like you can see them on Warhammer Community sometimes, but even then they're still like above the standard of like a lot of average painters. And I don't know, I really like the very achievable like 3rd edition era like guides. Like one of the most satisfying things to me as a Warhammer painter has been that as I've kind of, you know, gone on, like I can now paint stuff that looks like the tanks in a 3rd edition codex. Like I can do those to that kind of standard, and that's just really satisfying to me. And they're not that difficult to get that level. Whereas modern stuff is so far outside of my of most people's like capacity to reach, because they're just it's too much. And it's not to say it's not good to show off like really good painters, because I like to see really good painters, but like when it's just them, it's difficult not to feel like, you know, maybe a little bit like you're a little bit behind the curve, you know. They still show you guides, but to a standard that most people give up immediately. They're not as much. I noticed like I've noticed guides in the Age of Sigmar stuff more, which I noticed. Whereas yeah, the 40k stuff not so much. Let's give all decent slap chop variations. It's weird that that's just become a name now. It's like it's just underpainting. It's just yeah. I think Hans, I agree with you, because I would like to see more variants. I think the problem that GW has when writing codexes is that every codex is someone's first codex. So if they aren't constantly putting all of the lore for the main factions in all the time, then it won't be what people read about. So if you say just take an edition and you just concentrate on a sub-faction more than the main faction, then people who are just coming into it there are going to be left out on learning about the main faction. That's the thing, like a lot of this stuff, there isn't really good answers to it. And there's, because Warhammer is a product at the end of the day, and it has many uses beyond just purely things like, for some people like us who've been through several editions, like it, whatever, like, oh, there's a new Space Marine Codex, oh, it'd be cool if like it just focused on the Crimson Fists more than like the Ultramarines as like the central focus. That'd be fun. Sort of do what 3rd edition's cover did, but actually. But yeah, it's yeah, as ever, like GW are very good at getting themselves into damned if they do, damned if they don't positions, as regards a lot of this stuff. Nothing wrong with their heavy metal sections, but don't paint the guys like that. Yeah. Like ultimately, like all you need to show people is that You get neat with your flat colors, and then if you want to advance it, maybe throw a wash in the recesses, and then if you're happy with that and you're comfortable with doing that, do an edge highlight, and then anything past that is onto advanced techniques, and people who are just picking up the game for the first time don't need to know about that yet. And frankly, I don't do anything above that anyway. Yeah. I also miss when they go, because you just talk about I just saw a thing about kit bashing there. Yeah. Like I really miss when codexes had a bunch of like kit bashes in them and stuff. Like they go, hey, here is the army, and here's some fun shit you can do with it. Like if you want to customize them, like, you know, the models can be put together differently. It sort of encouraged creativity that I don't look at a modern codex and feel inspired to do anything different. Whereas I used to. I have Geister Tans, yes. Yes, I have seen the Joy Toy figures. They look rather fun. We are nearly done, folks. Most variation you get from a modern codex is paint variations. Yeah, yeah. Like, it's like, I mean, it makes sense, like, what they're doing. It all makes sense. I don't think it's weird that they have reached this kind of point where they're not prioritizing this stuff because they prioritize the things that will make them money. They make terrain. They make different kits. They make all this stuff. And I don't know. I want to say, are they doing it to make things be more accessible? Like they're not saying like that they don't want to like overload new players. But I don't think that's the case, because I started playing when I was like 13 or something. Yeah, around that. 12, 13, and like I saw that and it was inspiring to me. It made me want to do more stuff. He got ahead. I don't know. Feels like maybe new players are kind of missing out a little bit on that, because it's just not a thing that's prioritized anymore. This is interesting. Extra little shoulder pieces so that that can move out the way, so that he can have kind of a more kind of squared off shoulder, but then they can just move out the way. It's quite fun. Saw some Dark Tide conversions in White Dwarf recently. Oh, they still do it in White Dwarf, don't get me wrong. You still see that stuff there. I'm talking about the codexes specific. But yeah, and just to kind of like be clear about it, I'm not. This is again, like, I know old man yells at cloud and all that. I am going to prefer the type of thing that was around when I got into it. Of course I am. That is how things work. But I don't know. I feel like there are things in to do with Warhammer that are a lot better than when I started. Like the model quality is amazing nowadays, and there's there is so much more variety. You don't have to work with metal if you don't want to. But there are certain things that I feel have been lost along the way. I've made the boy. Oh, only two extra pieces. That's quite a small amount for Lego. But yes, there we go. He is quite fun. So yeah, we've got, again, to get an action figure toy reviewer on, the wings are on hinges. We've got a ball joint there. We've got a ball joint there with a little hinge for the little thing there. Ball jointed elbows. No waist rotation. Sorry, everyone. Little ball joint on legs. Just kind of go forward that far and go back that far. And then ball joints at the ankles. So, I can move this out of the way now because we are now, the building portion is done. Like, yeah. Like, yeah, that's quite a, that's not a bad little figure. That's not a bad little figure. Now the 1.5 hour playing with it portion commences. No. Why Transformers are not Gundam? Why does anyone like anything rather than anything else? I've watched Gundam. I don't. It doesn't appeal to me in the same way. Strange question. But yeah, no, I like this guy. He is a fun little mech. Like I say, big tokusatsu kind of vibes. Which was obviously the intention. Oh, and hey, Hippie. I'm sorry, the stream is nearly over. It's quite a short one today, I'm afraid. Because I have basically done. And to those wondering, how does he compare to a deluxe class Transformer? There you go. Admittedly, this is quite a short deluxe class. But yeah. We'll build a gun tank, that's all we need. You see, I don't dislike Gundam. I just only like Mobile Suit Gundam, and the rest of it I find very just overwhelming. I like Gunpla kits. They're fun. I have built a few of them. Gun Cannon and Gun Tank are very good boys. I do occasionally say Gundam rather than Gundam, but that's because I learned about the series long before I heard anyone say it out loud, and so I still occasionally overemphasize it. I cannot help it. Because I know it's supposed to be Gundam. Gundam, because damn that gun. Exactly. And that is an absurd gun. Ooh, my other camera is not happy. Ooh. That's currently operating at Ubisoft frame rates. Ooh. But yes. I do also have I can never remember the grades. I do have a Gundam as well, like just one of the regular, whatever they're called, the standard one. I do have it, but yes, he is good. I like this guy. He is good, and yeah, for less than a tenner, can't really go wrong. Those three little builds, they're all pretty fun. Which one do people like best? Out of interesting. Out of interesting? That's how you say it. You know what? I'm just going to turn that camera off because it has apparently just fucking died. And it is distracting to me. There we go. RX78. Yes, I think you're right there. There, long time. I just can never remember that number. It always falls out of my head. The dragon, the robot hands down, the dragon, gotta go to the giant robot. Yep, I understand this because I do like this one best. I think it's the color scheme more than anything else. I think one of the big problem with the dragon is that I think its color scheme doesn't really do it many favors. But I think it's a very cute little compact design. But this one just has like a nice kind of separation of colors. I really like this chest piece actually, where the way it uses these to create kind of like some eyes on it, like it's, you know, like a kind of face built into the thing. Makes me think a little bit of a Gurren Lagann kind of vibe. I'll take these off and like angle them to be like sunglasses or something. But yeah, nobody likes the plane. But yeah, the plane was fine, but it wasn't a dragon or a robot, was it? So, aside from the cream, the colours give me a wee Starscream vibe. I mean, in fairness, these are grey in normal lighting. It's just I've got like slight colours, and this is yellow. But yeah. Also, Wib, if you ever get a PO box open again, I need to send you a Metal Sonic. Oh, bless you, thank you. I do actually have a little Metal Sonic figure who's around somewhere. He's the only Sonic figure I own. Because I'm not... Like, I grew up with Sonic. I like Sonic just fine. I have enjoyed many of the games a lot. I played Sonic Adventure 2 for far too many hours in the Chow Garden. But for some reason, the one character that that has always resonated with me is Metal Sonic. So when I saw a little figure of him, he's the one I've got. Hello there, Oracle of Death. Okay, Wib, you've successfully built the boy. Do you have any toys you want to show before you finish, since the camera is on? No, I don't really think so. I mean, I bought Sniper Black Series earlier today. If you want to see it. I bought Snipe this one. Which is Zero from The Mandalorian. I also knocked the arm that is holding the camera. So it's all wobbly. But yeah, he's fun. He's a robot. And a dickhead. So yeah. Yeah, one of these days I should get Snipe to show off their Black Series collection, because it's got pretty big. it's pretty a pretty beefy collection at this point. But yeah. I will. Well, actually, there is one more I will show off, because this is another one that she got recently, which again I've knocked the fucking thing. So you all seen the wobbly. Which is a Werner Herzog action figure. Yeah, it's the client from season 1 of The Mandalorian, but that means you can get a small Werner Herzog, which is just very funny to us. So yeah, he also comes with, you'll be happy to know, and I will avoid hitting the thing this time, he comes with a little ice cream maker, which Longfang will say the name of, because I always forget what its in-canon name is, but it's an ice cream machine. That's what it is. Camtono. Okay. Love to play with my Werner. Camtono. Okay. Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff. I'm not reaching over anymore because I keep knocking things. But yeah, no, Snipe has an ungodly amount of these things now, and it is pretty fun. a shocking amount of them we found relatively cheaply as well by just looking around the different toy shops. Like this guy was like, I got him for like £8 today or something. And I think the client was like, I think he was like £13, and they normally sell for like £23 ish, 23, 24. So yeah. Because, you know, we just thought there wasn't enough plastic things that we were collecting and putting in our flat that we don't have room for. I say as I've just bought another little dickhead and this dickhead, you know. It's me, Werner Herzog, made out of never-degradable plastic, forever tainting the earth's soil with my soulless production. Hey, the Voltron is scaled to Black Series. Kind of is. It's about the same size, about the same height. You're not wrong. He's just a bit bulkier. But yeah. Anyway, I know this was a bit of a short one, but thank you very much for joining me. I enjoy doing the Lego streams. Don't get to do them very often because it involves buying Lego, and Lego is expensive. But we have some sets, and I shall do what I need to in the background. I have learnt a few things. Hopefully I can find out what caused this camera to crap out right at the end there. But yeah, so hopefully we can do it. I've got, some big Star Wars kits and the Optimus to build, and so hopefully do that relatively soon. No guarantee when, but yeah, we'll be doing it at some point. But yeah, well, these aren't even my toys, they're Snipe's toys away. But yeah, glad I caught the end of the stream. Oh, I'm sorry to hang down. Sorry. But yeah, no, thank you very, very much for joining me. And I shall bid you all good night. I hope you all have a good evening, and chill out, I guess. Build some Lego yourself, or do something that you find equally relaxing. For we all need to relax, maybe a little bit more, I feel. Smash capitalism, whatever brings you joy, Anyway, goodbye everybody, you take care.